Breaking news and a massive end to the preliminary hearing. We just got what could be the preliminary nail in the coffin in the Charlie Kirk Contamination case.
According to my timeline, allegedly taken at 6:38 p.m. at a nearby Dairy Queen. Here is that photo that we can show you.
So if you just allegedly assassinated Charlie Kirk in front of thousands of people, would you then go and get in your car and take a 17-minute drive to a Dairy Queen in order to buy a box of donuts? Not trying to hide your face, not trying to just scurry away and find some safe location.
According to what I've pieced together, this photo supposedly went down at exactly 6:38 p.m. at a Dairy Queen not far from the scene. This is the actual image we can break down for you. Take a hard look at this picture. Seems basic on the surface, but something's off. What doesn't fit? What details sitting right there in plain sight that might flip everything we think we understand? Hold on to that feeling as we dig deeper, because this image might be exactly what cracks this whole thing wide open. The entire scene just doesn't add up. Start with the biggest red flag at 6:38, so then someone's gone. Right after something that intense, every single move matters, and this one screams problems. You've clearly worked hard to cover everything. Hiding your face, changing your clothes fast, wiping away evidence. But then there's this outfit, the exact same outfit that made people suspicious from day one. Like I mentioned before, something about those clothes never felt right.
It's looking right, according to my timeline, allegedly taken at 6:38 p.m. at a nearby Dairy Queen. Here is that photo that we can show you. Just take a look at this photo. What is wrong with this picture? A lot is wrong with this picture. First and foremost, 6:38 p.m., you just shot someone. You have gone through great pains to hide your face, to change your outfit, but wait.
It might be the most critical slip-up here, something that doesn't match what you'd expect someone to actually do in that situation. The whole outfit story feels forced and wrong, like a puzzle piece jammed into the wrong spot. This tiny detail actually hints at something way bigger happening in the shadows, and that's where everything starts falling apart and needs real attention. Tyler showed up to campus in a simple fit light khaki shorts with a maroon shirt, but hours later, he made a wild choice to switch everything up. You start wondering, why change the whole outfit? A shirt swap would have been way easier and smarter. Everyone else is wearing the same blue jeans, so he could have blended in with just a quick switch. There's no reason to ditch the shorts or go through a complete wardrobe overhaul just to not stand out. Yet Tyler completely changed everything like it was intentional, like he was making a move. That photo of him in his original clothes? It became huge later, not just some random picture, but evidence used to track Tyler and piece together what really happened.
The outfit, again, as I sensed yesterday, has always been problematic. I feel the outfit was the Fed mistake. It never made any sense to say that he wore an outfit onto campus, light khaki shorts and a maroon shirt, and then decided to completely change hours later. Because why wouldn't you just change the t-shirt? That actually makes more sense. Every kid wears blue jeans. You don't have to change blue jeans or change out of khaki shorts to avoid detection.
No, my conclusion is inconclusive. Just as it says in the appendix, there is a lack of sufficient agreement and sufficient disagreement, so I'm unable to say one way or another.
Okay, but I guess my question is, were there points of dissimilarity between the question and the known bullets?
It gets even messier when someone deliberately pushed photos of people who looked like Tyler to witnesses and law enforcement. This wasn't some accident, someone did this on purpose. The federal agents building the case knew Tyler wasn't even in that location when things went down. Their game seemed to be about mixing up the story, making it look like Tyler was at the scene when he actually wasn't anywhere near it. This dirty move of spreading false leads twisted everything even more. Then high-profile commentator Candace Owens jumped in with something critical. She broke down that the restaurant supposedly didn't even have working security cameras back then. That means the owner couldn't give solid proof that Tyler was even there. Without actual video evidence, any claim about Tyler's presence gets shaky, and the whole case starts looking way weaker. Owens' take brought real attention to all the inconsistencies, leaving everyone scratching their heads about what actually went down. September 10th rolls around and the restaurant had 3 servers on shift. That's documented for certain. The server who took Tyler Robinson's order was known as Dairy Queen Photo.
There was times that I saw agreement in the striations and the landing group impressions, also seeing disagreement, but there was also a lot of lack of microscopic marks of value to see it all. So because of this lack of quality and quantity of marks to be able to see, it never reached the threshold of sufficient.
Microscopic dissimilarity, but in your opinion, it was insufficient to form a conclusion of source exclusion?
No, my conclusion is inconclusive. Just as it says in the appendix, there is a lack of sufficient agreement and sufficient disagreement, so I'm unable to say one way or another.
This matters more than it seems at first because prosecutors dug through every bit of video during the investigation. The security cameras caught everything, and nothing got tossed aside carelessly. Yet even with solid video proof sitting right there, what came out wasn't clear-cut. The report's appendix actually shows the findings were vague, neither confirming nor denying what actually happened. That gray area is frustrating, sitting there with evidence but no straight answers about what really went down. I can't say for sure either way. My conclusion is stuck in neutral, exactly like the appendix shows. When you dig into the data, there's just no strong enough agreement or disagreement to call it definitively. Yeah, there were moments where I spotted signs that almost felt solid, like pieces clicking into place. But at the same time, little differences and conflicting impressions kept popping up. It's like working a puzzle where half the pieces are missing. The full picture never really came together, and that fog means I can't pick a side. The evidence keeps coming in and out of focus, teasing like it has answers but leaving everything wide open. There was also this real absence of microscopic markings that actually meant something when you looked close. Because there weren't enough marks and the quality was weak, there just wasn't solid proof to back up any conclusion. The data stayed floating in this murky space, never tipping the scale toward anything definite.
And did you notice whether it had any debris or dust in it?
I believe my notes state that debris and dust was observed in the inside of the barrel, yes.
Okay, and could you further characterize what that was? Debris procedures on the bullet, the larger bullet fragment?
I did, yes.
And what did you do?
I cleaned the bullet jacket fragment and I also peeled the petals back. If you think of a banana and peeling the skin away from the interior, it's almost like doing that. As you can see from the photo, the petals have been crumpled in on themselves.
My notes specifically call out debris and dust particles stuck inside the barrel. Yeah, I clearly documented that contamination was sitting right there in the barrel's interior. That small detail actually made everything harder to pin down, making it nearly impossible to say anything concrete about the markings or where they came from. Absolutely! I cleaned that tiny bullet jacket fragment with extreme care so nothing got lost. Then I gently peeled back the petals. Picture it like slowly peeling a banana, pulling the skin back to see what's inside. This careful process opened up hidden layers under the surface and gave us a better look at the fragment's structure. Check out the photo and you'll see those petals aren't smooth at all. They're crumpled inward like paper crushed under weight. Because of that damage, the petals couldn't be used for more testing. That meant zero usable microscopic marks, no tiny scratches or patterns to connect this fragment back to any firearm.
Were the smaller fragments essentially not of any value to you in terms of doing comparisons?
They were deemed unsuitable, which means there are no microscopic marks of value for comparison.
And did you have some difficulty because of the damage to the bullet in exactly measuring it?
The reason I provided a range was because of the damage and deformity to the base. So at times it wasn't a perfect circle, so it was important to me to give a range of what those diameter measurements were.
It was tough to accept, but important to recognize how even small damage can wipe out crucial forensic evidence. To give you something to compare against, I threw out a range of measurements instead of just one number. That had to happen because the base got damaged and warped, so it wasn't perfectly round. Those imperfections meant I needed to give a range of diameter measurements to show how much things varied instead of forcing one exact number that might lie. When you look at rifling characteristics, those unique patterns carved inside a barrel that mark bullets, the search system factors these class characteristics in. By plugging in that measurement range, the system spits out a list of possible guns that could have made those marks. This narrows things down and points to specific makes and models that share those rifling patterns, even when the actual evidence shows some messiness.
The general rifling characteristics search will use those class characteristics and will generate a list of possible firearms that could have fired the bullet. But that list is not all-inclusive, it is just used as an investigative tool.
Sure. Could you go to page 47, please?
There were several different .30 caliber class firearms that could have fired the bullet.
And they're listed here, correct?
Correct.
Could you tell us what the initials PI and RI and PR mean in the far right-hand column?
They refer to different types of firearms, so rifles, revolvers, machine guns, any type of firearm.
The examiner broke it down, picking exactly which firearm fired that bullet isn't simple. While the investigation had a certain list of guns that might have shot that bullet, understand that list is just the beginning, a launching pad for the search. In reality, tons of firearms chambered for 30 caliber rounds could be responsible. We're talking about a massive range here. Rifles, revolvers, machine guns, basically any weapon built to fire. 30 caliber ammunition. What makes this even wilder is that bolt-action firearms fit the bill too, and those things are known for precision and were used everywhere. All these different firearms could have potentially discharged that exact bullet jacket fragment we found. So even after all that deep analysis.
And what are the pistol ones? How is that designated? PI or?
Correct.
And what is RB?
Bolt action.
Bolt action. So based on the class characteristics, any of these weapons could have fired that bullet.
They could have possibly fired the bullet jacket fragment, yes.
The examiner was clear, there's no single smoking gun in this case, because way too many weapons could have left that same mark. This opens up a huge landscape of possibilities and shows how twisted and detailed forensic ballistics actually is when matching bullets to guns. This whole thing wraps up the investigation by reminding us that evidence, while essential, can mean a bunch of different things. It's a heavy reminder that forensic science doesn't always give you one crystal clear answer, but instead a roadmap of potential truths, each one just as possible as the next. If this story hit different, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into wild mysteries. Share this with your crew and drop a comment telling us what you think actually went down or which part blew your mind the most. Your support keeps this moving and helps us bring more stories straight to you. See you on the next one.